Welcome back, fishing friends, to another adventure. Alright guys, I'm at a really cool spot here. I'm on the Mississippi River. The main channel is right out there. Some islands here, it's like one of these little side channels. Got some guys out there doing some walleye fishing. It's gonna be an exciting day. I've got night crawlers. I'm gonna start off with a little jig spinner. So there's all kinds of stuff lurking in this water. Hey, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name's Alan. I make all kinds of videos, but mostly fishing videos. And it's a great way for me to keep like a little visual diary of my fishing adventures. And anyone is welcome to come along for the ride and be a part of the Pinhook Fishing Club. So we're gonna see what we got going here. I got two of my ultralights with me, my 5-footers. And I've got 4-pound line on them. Gonna be using a little jig spinner today from Mr. Twister and a little double tail plastic. Maybe catch some crappie. Got some night crawlers, and I got my new rod, that 6'6" Mach 2 that I really like. But it's a gorgeous day. I mean, it is actually a little chilly. It's in the high 60s. Oh yeah, this looks good in the water. But I'm hoping I hadn't caught any like really big bluegills, sunfish. I'm looking forward to doing that, and maybe even some crappie. I've caught crappie here before. I've only done one other video here on the Mississippi. And that day the water was really low. The water is low now, but that day the water was really low. And I think I was further down on the rocks over there, and it was just, I don't know, wasn't a very productive day. One thing is I don't see the eagles. Usually there's eagles' nests behind me, and then out there I don't see any. But one cool thing is that some people from time to time on these islands in the middle of the river, they'll go out there and camp. Technically, I don't think you're supposed to do that, but they do. Some of them go out there for the day to have fun and have a good time. Oh, I remember why I didn't like it too much. It's because the last time I was here, there was so much boat traffic. It was throwing water up in here all the time, and it was just hard to fish through that. So, like this guy, he's zipping through, getting to a spot, and so that'll throw a lot of water over here. One interesting thing about Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota along the river is you have these walleye leagues. I'm not sure if they do it for smallmouth, but it's like a little fishing tournament type deal, but it's ongoing. They have like a season for it. There goes another boater out there. But I have a lot of great memories here. Of course, my aunt and uncle used to have a cabin along the river up by Wabasha, then over at Lake Pepin, and we always had some great adventures on the river. My first big catfish I ever caught was at their little cabin on the Mississippi. Alright, well, I'm going to keep throwing this jig spinner and then maybe switch to the night crawlers. Alright guys, I'm switching to night crawlers. And we shall see what we get. I wonder if I can sit down here somewhere. Right here looks good. Anyway, so I just got a night crawler on there, a trout magnet, for a little bit of weight so we don't lose so much in the current. And then I got a bobber. She's just sitting right out there. All right, boys, we're hooked up. I can't tell what, ooh, this looks like a big bluegill. What on earth? Oh, it's a giant crappie. Oh. This is a big boy crappie right here. Barely hooked. Look at the size of that sucker. This will be my PB Iowa crappie, and it's not even close. Now, Minnesota, I caught a behemoth of a crappie. Missouri, I've caught a 16-incher. So we'll get a measurement on this guy. Come on. What is going on here? All right, guys, a 15-inch crappie. For the release, guys, one last look. Mississippi crappie. There she goes. Oh my gosh, that was nice. That's such a soft bite on it, but I knew it was a heavy fish. That was a lot of fun getting that. I didn't know what it was at first. I thought it was a big bluegill, then maybe a bass. And then when I saw it was a crappie, I was like, oh man. Just such a peaceful place to fish. I'm at a little boat launch here, and there's like a little park here where people can eat lunch. Enjoy the river. Once the river gets into your system, it's always there. You're always become a river rat. You know what, guys? I may switch to one of those high-vis Pine Outdoors crappie baits and let it drift along. I threw the little jig spinner out there, didn't have anything. I've got some other jig spinners I need to test. But I want to have some fun with these night crawlers. I don't do nearly enough night crawler fishing. See how the waves were crashing in there, guys? Guy over there in a boat zipped by. He looks like he's gonna fish off that point of the island there. I still hadn't seen any eagles. I've heard them. They have that super recognizable call that they do. I was lucky that one year because they were all perched in that tree there, some young ones and some mature ones, and they were going out and hunting. Back in May, the river was super high. The water was. I think now it's a hair on the low side. It's about where I fished it the last time I was here. right about this level. Yeah, there's some pretty good current. I gotta tell you guys, when we were kids, in a couple of those plastic pop bottles, up here they call it pop, down home everyone says you're gonna go get a Coke, or some places say soda, but we had a couple of pop bottles and we wrote messages in them. We didn't put phone numbers, and my aunt and uncle, and of course our parents didn't know, but when nobody was looking, we tossed them into the river because yeah, there's good current. And I'm sure somebody found them because you know the recycle value of some of those. But since there was no phone number, you know, nobody ever called. We didn't put our address. We put something like, you know, hey, we're over here. There goes a fisherman. They're like, yeah, we're over here on one of the islands and life is rough. There's a guy dropping a pontoon boat in. There's a guy drifting this way. Looks like he's fishing for crappie. Anyway, it was kind of funny, but you know how it is when you're fourth or maybe fifth grade, sixth grade, fourth grade. Well, we caught a lot of fish on the river there. Had some good times in Wabasha. Got a thump, guys. Got a thump. May have gotten the bait. It was just a real quick whack. Dang it, I think he got the bait. Nope. Definitely popped it though. What is this cabbage? Come on, get out of there. You got speedboats now, you got fishing boats, you got pontoon. Right there is where that pop was. Get this guy zipping along. There goes a pontoon. We're about to get a huge amount of waves. And behind him, the guy's fishing off the point. That's just a cruiser. I guess you could fish out of that thing, but in the pontoon you could do whatever. Alright guys, I'm just throwing a jig spinner with Northland tackle. Looks like a little yellow perch. Little plastic on there. It's interesting as I reel this through, it's weedless, but I can feel where all the cabbage is down there. Right there it goes bump, 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 gets snared up a little. That thing looks phenomenal in the water. Check that out. Oops, we gotta fix his tail. There we go. That looks pretty good. All I need now is a nice bite. Boy, I can smell boat fuel, like boat exhaust. Smells good. Somebody's over here revving an engine somewhere. One of those old school like 1980s engines that fires off that boat exhaust. Ooh. Bump, 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 bump. It's just cabbage down there. Yep. Anyway, so I'm going to keep throwing this for a little while. Ooh, almost hooked the tree up there. So with this, what I do is I let it sink, keep the bail open so it doesn't pendulum towards me. Then I'll close the bail. And then I just crank it real slow. No need to burn it through. crank it real slow. Let it do the work. I'm thinking about throwing a tube out there, bouncing that along. And of course, I still got a whole bunch of more night crawlers I can fire out there. All right, guys, I've tested all kinds of jig spinner combos, threw the Mepps for a little bit. Now I've got a pumpkin, excuse me, a green pumpkin craw tube bait. It's a tube bait, bouncing it along down there. There's a couple ways to do it. You can just let it bounce, flow through the river, or you can just snap. It'll have like a weird erratic falling, and then just kind of let it sit, and then snap it again, and it'll pop up. Usually in a lake, it's a little bit better just to do the snap method, but here the current has been carrying it. But it looks good in the water. So we'll keep it going. Guys are still cruising by up and down the river in boats, hitting their spots. The one guy that was on the point for a long time down there, he's gone. He must have caught his limit and got out of there. All right, boys, we're hooked up. What is it? Well, it's a nice pike on this big Cyclops lure I was throwing. I gotta try to figure out how to land him. I don't have my handy dandy net. Oh, there he goes. Dang it. Boy, he threw it. That was my fault. Check out this lure. And he just hammered it. I'm counting that as a catch. You don't see but hear it. It's just so steep. I could have bank flipped right down there. Let me go see if I got the handy dandy net in the back of the truck. Guys, I did have the net in the back of the truck. It's my little gimpy trout net, but we've got like 4 or 5 nets at the lake cabin, and I don't know, I was trying to come up with a plan on how I was going to bank flip this guy right down there, but it just, he had one more jump and threw it. All right, this what I'm using is just a Cyclops, but it's that fire tiger color again that those pike just love. Not much to it, you just reel it in. When that guy hit, he wasn't even that deep of water. It was just boom. So I got a Mississippi pike, I'm counting that one. I got a Mississippi crappie. It's just so dang steep here, and I don't want to wind up getting hurt trying to get down in there. But I think I got an idea now of how I want to do it. Anyway, these fire tigers are kind of a unique, or these Cyclops are kind of a unique lure. They wobble around like a wounded fish down there. And they're high vis, especially in this color. They just kind of flop around down there. Alright guys, back to the Nightcrawler, a possible hookup here. Let's check it out and see. Ooh, oh, not quite a big pancake. Man, looks like something bit him. Something tried to get him on the back end. Let me get this turned around. Look at that, he's got a gash down there. Ooh, he's peeing everywhere. Alright. But see that gash? It's like a pike or something tried to get him. Alright, I gotta dig this hook out. Be right back. Alright guys, there we go for the release. A nice little bluegill. And he gone. Check out the Sea-Doo, wave runners, whatever the heck those jet skis. Looks like they're having a good time. Now watch this. This old boy in the motorboat is zipping through, so they're gonna have some cool, look at that, they're going for the wake. Oh. Not much for a wake for them to jump, I guess. You know what I was thinking, guys? Somebody one of these bushcrafters, somebody needs to do a challenge where they go out to one of these islands and stay there for like 3 days, stealth it up. Because I don't think you can camp on them. You can go visit them during the day. Here comes a wake from the boat. Some cabbage. I think you can hang out there for the day for like a picnic or something, but you can't spend the night there. So, come on, what am I doing here? So that'd be kind of a cool challenge. Stealth camp out on one of those. I don't even know how often DNR or the state police for Iowa come by and check this. Right over there, that whole other side is Wisconsin. Or if there's like a river authority, that'd be kind of a cool deal for somebody to stealth camp on one of those islands. Take a kayak out there and flip it over and hide it. Nobody's going to see that in that grass or in a tree line. Have a tent, low profile tarp. That'd be pretty cool. It's acting funny. Could be just caught in the cabbage. Alright, nothing's going on now. We got some water coming in from those jet skiers just came back through. Yeah, it gets hung up in the cabbage here a little bit, and so I got to get, and so it kind of tricks you into thinking there's a bite, because there's current, you know. And when the current is trying to move it through the grass and it gets hung up on the grass, it kind of teeters and bobs. Thing is, guys, it's just so peaceful here. I mean, this is just a slice of heaven where you can come out and fish in Mississippi. If you're fortunate enough, you got a place along the Mississippi, and you can just enjoy one of the great wonders of the United States. Catch some fish along the way. I threw a whole bunch of more lures out and tested around, and nothing else. So unless I hang around here till this evening, I took a break for lunch. The wind is pretty much non-existent now, just a little bit. But if I hung around this evening, the pike would probably get more active. This little park here, you can't camp here, but boy, you could fish here all night if you wanted to. As calm and peaceful it is now, in a week maybe, or a couple weeks, the mayflies are going to hatch, and there's just going to be bugs everywhere. I mean, they just coat everything. Maybe with the lack of rain and kind of low water, they won't be as heavy this year. But over here on the river, they had a lot of high water in the early part of the spring and into May. But then the fish, they'll just be gorging on mayflies that get stuck in the water. Just had a mammoth sturgeon or a carp or a pike out there jump. Looked like it was about, just in terms of feet, like about 4 feet long. Just a beast. You know, I hadn't seen any barges come through. Last time I was here, they were just about every hour a barge was coming through, but they'd hit more out on the main channel there. Alright, so I'm still throwing the night crawler. Switch back to it after I did everything I wanted to do with all the lures and threw them out, tested all kinds of stuff. Everything from the Largo shad to the little wolf, which is a Mepps spoon. I mean, I was throwing all kinds of stuff. Put them through their paces, but nothing. Thought I had a couple of thumps on a smaller Cyclops. It was kind of a red and silver. Ooh, see, there's that big splash out there. I'm going to bring this in just a little bit closer here. I want to get another one of those big crappies, but right in here is where that pike hit. And there's quite a bit of cabbage down there that I think see, I'm hung up in cabbage now because I can see the current, but my bobber is kind of flaking around there. So just jig it a little bit and then it comes free. Alright guys, a possible hookup. Let's check it out. Oh! Dang. He didn't get it. He didn't stick. I need to switch to a smaller bobber now that the wind has died down. Still got the crawler out there. Thought I had a possible bite, but nothing. How can they resist that juicy nightcrawler, a free meal? Right through there, guys. An eagle. Check him out. Boy, he's in a hurry to go somewhere. I was wondering if I was going to see him around. I usually see him along the river here. He flew up to that tree and didn't really do anything. Now he's just cruising along the river. Or she. It looks like there's a nest right there that one's been sitting on. Way the heck out there. And then this guy, he's just cruising in. He landed on a tree over there. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Alright guys, I got a line out there still with a night crawler. It's gonna wrap it up. Not too many fish today, but I did get my PB crappie for Iowa. That was a lot of fun. I just had something interesting happen. A big carp got stuck in the rocks here as he was going by, and his back was sticking out of the water, and he was trying to shuffle through, and then he did and kept on going. But I thought that was kind of interesting how they come in real shallow. Then over here by the end of this tree stump, there's a lot of action over there, so I kept throwing on the other side of that log. Nothing. Just these blow-ups right there at that log, so I'm thinking it's just a carp shuffling around in there. But even still, they'll eat a night crawler. I've caught a carp on a Mepps before, a couple times. Anyway, so thanks for hanging out with me today. It's just been so chill out here on the river. I almost want to just stay here and fish all night. That'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Till next time, I will see you then. Bye-bye.